Viewer discretion is advised. In 2014, the state of Georgia ranked 10th in the nation for domestic violence. In the city of Atlanta, an average of 148 victims died from domestic violence per 100,000 people in the year 2016. And in 48% of reviewed cases, the couple shared young children. Children are often the silent victims of domestic violence, a fact which can perpetuate the cycle of violence in families and communities. Of 47% of reviewed cases, the victim and perpetrator had at least one child together at the time of the homicide, and children witnessed the homicide in 29% of those cases. 70% of domestic violence-related deaths in Atlanta are firearm-related. Many relationships ending in homicide started when the victim was in their teenage years. In reviewed cases, 25% of victims began their relationship with the person who eventually killed them when they were between the ages of 13 and 19. When a domestic violence victim is leaving an abusive relationship, she is at a significantly higher risk for serious injury or death, even before she takes obvious actions to leave. In almost every reviewed case, the victim was either contemplating ending the relationship, making preparations to leave the relationship, or had already taken clear steps signaling a desire to end the relationship. In reviewed cases, 79% of victims were in contact with law enforcement in the 5 years before the homicide occurred in the domestic violence situation. Boys who witness domestic violence are twice as likely to abuse their own partners and children when they become adults. The most devastating fact is that the city of Atlanta is not aware of the serious problem of domestic violence. This is Reset.
Standing emergency.
My mommy and daddy are having a fight.
Is he hitting her?
I'm talking to the police, mommy. Stop it! Stop it! Baby! Stop it! Could you just send the police, please?
Okay, we're going to be there. What's going on?
They're having a fight because this has been going on forever and ever.
How's he hurting her?
He made some red marks on mommy.
Where did he make the red marks on her?
Her neck. Oh my God!
What's the matter? Is your Hello?
We are here to empower these women. It's important to our agency to see women in control of their lives. It's about ending the cycle of abuse. It's about spreading awareness. And the majority of Atlanta has no idea that domestic violence is such a serious issue. That is why Reset exists. We bring the message to the community and provide these resources to women and children who are in desperate need of a way out.
What do you know about domestic violence?
Probably not very much, but I do know that it does happen, but as far as statistically, I don't know the statistics.
Did you know that children die from domestic violence?
That is a shame. I'm sure they do, but that is a shame. So I would be aware, yes.
Do you know the number?
No, I don't.
It's 12,000.
12,000
Per year.
Per year? Wow, that's terrible. From domestic violence?
From domestic violence.
Jeez.
Did you know that the state of Georgia is a hotspot for domestic violence,
No, I did not know that.
and that many counties in the state of Georgia do not have any outlet for this.
That sounds like Georgia. Yes.
What is the capital of sex trafficking in the world?
I would, if I was guessing, I would say maybe somewhere overseas, but you're probably going to tell me it's somewhere here in the United States.
It's actually Atlanta.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, wait. Thank you so much for your time. It was very nice interviewing you.
Hi, I'm here with Melody, and she's going to answer some quick questions for us. First of all, do you know that 70% of domestic violence deaths are caused by firearms?
Yes, I actually knew that statistic.
Do you know any hotline number for domestic violence victims?
No, I do not.
What would you do if someone you knew was in a domestic violence situation?
I would encourage them to seek help and offer to go ahead and find help for them if they needed it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On September 21st, 2017, an organization called Reset emerged to become an outreach program for women ages 18 to 45 in domestic violence situations. The organization Reset was discovered and created by 10 different women from all different backgrounds. We are Reset. We are a network that provides all of these resources to help the woman and the child who are in a domestic violence situation.
Imagine Sarah, a 28-year-old mom of two. She's being brutalized physically, mentally, and verbally by her husband. She wants to escape this detrimental situation that she's in, but she doesn't know how to make that first step. My name is Nicole Henry, and I'm so proud to be a part of Reset, an organization that is determined to provide the vital resources for women with children, just like Sarah, to escape their abuse. Here at Reset, I'm the head of the Money Management Department. What that entails, it is my job to deliver the basic and fundamental knowledge of money management. Some of the vital areas of money management include being able to open a checking and savings account, being able to budget, and being able to save. The money management resource is an extremely important intervention for many of these women. As they leave their very abusive and dark pasts behind, they move on to a more fulfilling, rewarding, and successful future.
Hi, I'm Larissa Elsley, and I'm head of the legal department. It can be divided into two sections, internal legal and external legal. Internal has to do with helping the victim and the abused and family that's coming in, and we're going to seek help from food pantries, clothing facilities, local police, elected officials, and it would be easiest to piggyback onto another 501c3 nonprofit and use their IRS filings in the beginning until we are granted that. Externally, it is the family protective order that we need to gain a restraining order against the abuser and allow for child custody to be given to the abused, as well as sometimes the house, as well as child support. So if the abuser violates the Family Violence Act, they will get charged with aggravated stalking, which is a misdemeanor or a felony. And so we have the internal as well as external legal issues to deal with.
My name is Allison Piltz, and I am responsible for the medical department of Reset. Upon intake of domestic violence victims, it is my responsibility to make sure that all health concerns are addressed of the victims and their children. There's a wide array of issues that our victims tend to come in with. This may include trauma, sexually transmitted diseases, psychological issues. So any of these I'm responsible for handling. Another responsibility of mine is to make sure that they are provided with medical insurance and medical coverage. many of them qualify for governmental assistance. Another health concern that is quite prevalent in our victims is reproductive health, and it is necessary for us to often partner with Planned Parenthood in order to seek solutions for these patients, as well as psychological health and getting our patients to a psychological balance and counseling and treatment options for psychological health.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah Martin, and I'm the department head for the Fundraising and Community Outreach Department. My job is to raise funds and raise awareness. One of our priorities at Reset is to inform the community of the travesties of domestic violence. Every spring, we host an Inspire Summit sponsored and run by women who have experienced abusive behavior or want to put a stop to it. We also offer in-house and traveling workshops that explain how to identify abusive behavior and how to handle abusive situations. As the head of this department, it is my pleasure to serve the community on behalf of our agency.
Hi, my name is Jada Hastings, and I am the head of the Education Department. The goal of this department is to provide services and programs to women and children in hopes that the women can gain independence and that we can break the cycle of violence in these children. We provide job training and counseling that deals with coping with domestic violence and building healthy relationships with children for the women. And we provide programs for children that deal with self-blame, managing emotions, and dealing with domestic violence.
I am Grace Earnhardt, and I am the head of childcare at Reset. Our main goal for childcare is to make the mom's job as easy as possible. Her only concern should be supporting her family, and she shouldn't have to worry about anything else. So what we step in and do is try to find childcare that fits the mom's needs, the child's needs, based off of income, off of a child disability if there's any, and there's a wish list that the mom can fill out, and we meet those criteria as best we can. We also work with the counseling department in providing child therapy because a lot of these kids have witnessed the abuse that their moms have gone through. And so we send each kid home with a workbook that's about anxiety and depression, just to kind of help them work through some of those emotions that they might be having and just try to promote healing as far as the kids go, to break the cycle, to prevent this from happening when they get there.
Hi, my name is Rose Williams, and I am ecstatic to be working with Reset Agency. I am head of the counseling department, and the goal of the counseling department is to break the cycle against domestic violence against women who have suffered psychological trauma, including feeling unsafe, experiencing flashbacks, and being jumpy. The counseling department works with psychology practices who help women who are suffering from anxiety, depression, panic attacks, emotional withdrawals, and low self-esteem. Safety is first and foremost, so we provide counseling. We also work with the educational department in providing psychoeducation, a useful technique that helps women and teach them what a healthy relationship looks like.
My name is Amanda Hoff, and I am the head of the security department for Reset. Facility security is extremely important for all of our procedures to continue. If a woman and her children do not feel safe, that will lead them less likely to trust the resources that we have for them. I'm here to provide protection and security for these women and their children. The security department has efforts with our local police department. We offer self-defense classes for the women and their children. We have protection at the facility and maintain complete confidentiality of all records of all of our women and children. And also in certain cases we may be able to provide certain self-defense measures, such as pepper spray in the disguise of lipstick, so the woman and the child may have a way to protect themselves if they are caught in a sticky situation.
Hello, my name is Ivy Semo, and I am the Religious Department Director. What Reset means to me is new beginnings. beginnings, and it just fills my heart up with so much joy just to see women start over and just seeing women feel empowered and just moving forward with their life just fills my heart up with a lot of joy. Studies show that religion helps improve a person's well-being and also their life expectancy. It also reduces depression and anxiety. What I do for my department, I pair with different religious communities, connect them with the women, give them outlets, hotlines, and even support systems if they feel the need to ever slip back. I keep the women informed about what's going on in the religious communities, and I also give them hotlines so they can be informed and also just to have an extra support system. Thank you for all that you do for Reset. Together, we can help women reset and break the cycle of domestic violence for women and children.
Hi, my name is Crystal Dorda, and I'm the head of the housing department here at Reset. Our main goal for the housing department at Reset is to relocate our homeless women and children that come in into our sister facilities to ensure that they have safe, affordable, and easy transitioning once they are out of the program. We have two different sub-departments of the housing department at Reset, and that's going to be in-facility housing and transitional housing. For in-facility housing, all of our residents are going to be provided fully furnished with all amenities included apartment styles. Each apartment is going to be styled from 1 to 3 bedrooms depending on the number of children that the resident has, and further accommodations can be made in the future, case by case. All of our apartments are going to be heavily secured to assure the safety of the women and children and to make sure that no trespassers or any violators can step on the premise without our permission directly from our sister facilities and without also permission from the women. Different resources will be located all throughout the in-facility housing, such as gyms for exercising, research, and labs, and also clubhouse spaces. We will also be hosting community events each month so all residents can meet one another, build social and emotional support groups. After the 6-month rehabilitation program from our residents have been completed, we will move them to transitional housing. Transitional housing may take a bit of time, but we do pair our residents with real estate agents who are of expertise and they know Atlanta and all the affordable locations and safe locations and prime locations, especially when it comes to school districts. Our main criteria for transitional housing is that we have listings that are going to be affordable, safe, and in district for our residents. The most important thing about transitional housing is making sure that we find a perfect match for the resident and for their children when they're moving into transitional housing. This means that we spend a lot of time making sure that the price range is right, that the location is right, and also to make sure that the children are going to have adequate amount of school resources and different shopping districts and everything for their use. While our residents are living in transitional housing, we make sure to meet with them at least once a month to make sure that their finances are on track and to make sure that they're paying their rent or mortgage on time, and also to make sure that their expectations are also met. After 6 months after relocating to transition housing, we make sure that our residents are happy with the house they chose, and if they're not, then we're going to go back to the process again to make sure that we relocate them to a house that's going to be much better in a better location or is more affordable to them. However, after 6 months, it's going to be up to the resident to move to a better location and to do the research on her own.